What if I told you about a queen so cunning and fierce that she turned the tables on her enemies, played by her own rules, and struck fear into the hearts of colonial powers? This is the story of Queen Nzinga of Angola, a woman who made warriors fight to the death for a night in her bed and executed them at sunrise 3, all while defying the mighty Portuguese Empire. Ready to uncover her incredible tale? The story begins in the late 16th century, in Ndongo, present-day Angola. Nzinga was born into a royal family, but her path to power was anything but ordinary. As a child, she watched Portuguese invaders exploit her people. Her father, the king, trained her in diplomacy and warfare, sensing her potential. But little did anyone know, Nzinga would rise as one of the most feared and revered rulers in African history. Nzinga's early years were marked by sharp observations of power dynamics. Even as a young girl, she questioned why her people bowed to foreign invaders. Her questions ignited a fire within her, one that would fuel her rebellion against the Portuguese. Every lesson she learned from her father became a tool she would later use to defend her people. By the early 17th century, the Portuguese sought to control Angola for its rich resources and the transatlantic slave trade. Ndongo faced relentless attacks. Nzinga's brother, the reigning king, was weak and indecisive, leaving the nation vulnerable. When the Portuguese demanded peace negotiations, Nzinga was sent to represent her kingdom, a moment that would forever change history. The sight of Portuguese forces laying waste to her homeland left an indelible mark on Nzinga. As she approached the negotiation table, she knew that the survival of her people rested on her shoulders. Her ability to think quickly and act boldly would prove crucial in the coming years. Nzinga's sharp mind and strategic brilliance shone during her famous meeting with the Portuguese governor. Refusing to sit on the floor like a subordinate, she ordered one of her servants to kneel and form a human chair. She negotiated a temporary peace, but this act of defiance made it clear Nzinga was no ordinary woman. She was a force to be reckoned with. Her actions in that meeting weren't just symbolic. They were a statement of her determination to stand as an equal. Nzinga's refusal to bow sent shockwaves through the Portuguese court. From that moment, she established herself as a leader who would not be underestimated. When her brother's rule collapsed, Nzinga seized power. She declared herself queen and transformed Ndongo's army into an unyielding force. But her methods were as shocking as they were effective. Legend has it, Nzinga would select her fiercest warriors to fight to the death for a chance to share her bed. By morning, the victor would be executed. It was a chilling reminder of her absolute authority and a way to ensure loyalty through fear and fascination. Nzinga's militaristic reign wasn't just about tactics. It was psychological warfare. She understood that maintaining control required more than swords and shields. Her ability to command respect, loyalty, and even fear made her a formidable leader. Her enemies whispered of her cruelty, but her people saw her as a protector. Nzinga forged an alliance with the Imbangala, a fearsome group of nomadic warriors. Together, they waged guerrilla warfare against the Portuguese, disrupting their supply chains and freeing enslaved Africans. Her leadership inspired her people and struck terror into her enemies. She turned Angola into a fortress, one battle at a time. The Imbangala's brutal methods complemented Nzinga's calculated plans. She adopted their ferocity, but tempered it with strategic brilliance. This alliance turned Nzinga's forces into a nightmare for the Portuguese, who struggled to match her innovative tactics. For decades, Nzinga defied the Portuguese. Her army, outnumbered and outgunned, used cunning tactics to ambush and overpower colonial forces. She exploited every weakness, forming alliances with the Dutch to counterbalance Portuguese power. She wasn't just fighting for her kingdom, she was waging a war for African freedom. Nzinga's brilliance wasn't confined to the battlefield. She used espionage, diplomacy, and propaganda to weaken her enemies. Her ability to think several steps ahead turned her into the Portuguese's worst nightmare. They underestimated her, and she made them pay dearly for it. Every loss they suffered at her hands fueled the legend of Nzinga. Nzinga's resilience was tested repeatedly. Her people were displaced, her allies betrayed her, and her resources dwindled. But Nzinga refused to surrender. She retreated to the mountains and rebuilt her army, rallying her people with promises of liberation. To the Portuguese, she was a relentless thorn in their side. To her people, she was a beacon of hope, In these moments of adversity, Nzinga's true strength shone through. She turned every setback into an opportunity to grow stronger. Her ability to inspire her people kept the dream of freedom alive, even in the darkest times. The more the Portuguese tried to break her, the stronger she became. Nzinga's personal life became the stuff of legend. Stories of her warriors fighting to the death for a night in her bed were whispered across kingdoms. These tales, though dramatized, symbolized her power over men and her ability to control even the most primal instincts. Whether myth or reality, they reinforced her image as a ruler who commanded absolute respect. These stories served a purpose beyond the personal. They were a form of propaganda designed to elevate Nzinga's status and intimidate her enemies. Her mystique became a weapon as powerful as her army. She mastered the art of blending myth and reality to maintain her grip on power. Even in her later years, Nzinga continued to fight. She signed peace treaties, only to use them as opportunities to strengthen her position. Her refusal to submit became her legacy. The Portuguese eventually recognized her rule, unable to crush her spirit. Nzinga's life was a testament to resistance against oppression. Nzinga's ability to outlast her enemies was a testament to her intelligence and tenacity. She understood that true victory wasn't just about winning battles, but about ensuring her people's survival and autonomy. Even as age slowed her body, her mind remained as sharp as ever. Nzinga died in 1663, but her legacy endures. She remains a symbol of African resistance, a woman who defied colonial powers and fought for her people's freedom. Her story is one of resilience, cunning, and unyielding strength. Today, her name stands as a reminder that even the most formidable empires can be challenged by a determined heart. Nzinga's impact extends beyond Angola. She has become a global icon, celebrated for her leadership, bravery, and unwavering commitment to her people. Her story inspires movements for justice and freedom to this day. If you found this story as captivating as we did, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this tale of courage and power. Until next time.